Well, you guys see anything fun online yesterday? Oh boy. Alright. Oh, my voice is a bit fucked. And it's going to be more fucked because I'm not going to be able to help myself screaming a little bit. There's a little bit of screaming to be done. To emphasize just how shit Netflix are on average, okay? Oh, wow. And this is the problem. Normally with tier lists, I just kind of go, well, I like this one, so it goes in C. I dislike this one quite a lot, so it goes in, like, E. Okay? With Netflix original movies, the thinking has to change more severely than with most tier lists. Because I like it, that means it's like a B, at least. I dislike it a little, then it's like a C. I dislike it like a huge amount, like it's horrible, really goddamn awful. It's probably still like an E. Yeah, that's the problem. I really can't just shove everything into F. I should, but I won't. I didn't watch many of these, but I don't think I want to. I just want to see the F tier get filled up. That's the problem. It should, realistically. The new emoji is very apt for today. Very true. The incoherent screaming emoji is yeah. That was made for me by Toff. Thank you very much, Toff. He made that for me, and it's beautiful, of course. Now, this is wow. This is a disaster waiting to happen. Look at these. So these are all of the English language Netflix original movies from last year. I talk a lot about Netflix original movies on the channel, particularly last year, because it was quarantine and there was no other movies to watch that were new coming out. So I watched not all of these, but I think there's 63 here. I'm going to say a strong 55 I've probably seen. I'd guess there's a roughly 8 here that I didn't, okay? A couple of them came out before quarantine. A couple of them, like this, Larva Island, the Larva Island movie, that was at the end of like 4 seasons of an animated show that was on Netflix. Then they made this. So I wasn't just going to watch it just to say I'd watched all of the Netflix original movies that came out in the year. And then there's a couple others that I just randomly happened to miss. But generally I've seen enough to do this. Hey William, how's it going? Easy S tier to 5 Bloods. To 5 Bloods, very good, very good. I was surprised that it didn't get like even a hint at the Oscars. Normally Spike Lee would. I'm currently working on the animated movie I came up with, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, the 3 Marketeers. Okay. I mean, Disney got to do that for Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, so I don't see why not. Okay, so as normal, first off, we just need to get something on each tier to really get my thinking in the right place for what should go where. So simple, this is here, okay? The main event is a film about... It's going to be so hard just to actually explain what some of these are about for real. The main event is a film where there's this kid and he finds an old luchador wrestling mask in an old house. And when he puts it on, he becomes a great wrestler. Gains like super strength, super speed, stuff like that. And then because he's so good at wrestling with the mask on, he gets a tryout with WWE. And then there's some actual WWE stars in it. So WWE Studios were involved in the making of it. So you know that it's garbage. And it's Like Mike. If you ever, as a kid, saw Like Mike, the one where he puts on the shoes and becomes as good as Michael Jordan, right, at basketball. It's that, but wrestling, and 10 times worse. 10 times worse, and Like Mike's not good. Why not do a 1-minute review on Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, the 3 Musketeers? I could. I could. I haven't seen it in a while. That's an option. Extraction, the old guard were also good. Very true. Happy. Oh. Thank you, Ross. Yeah. Wasn't really talking about it too much, but thank you. So the main event is an F tier. That It has to be really bad in Netflix terms to actually get onto the F tier, but that is. It's hard to know what's an E tier. No, it's not. I'll put that on E. Actually, I'll put this on E tier, okay? Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. It was yesterday. It was yesterday, but yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. No, it's okay, Ross. It's fine. A number of people already knew, so it's not a big deal. What will your next fan cast be? Batman. Hell yeah. It came up on my Facebook. Yeah, that's fine. Who's your favorite WWE wrestler? As an Irishman, it's hard not to say Finn Balor. Absolutely brilliant. I love Adam Cole as well. I'm more into some of the NXT guys right now. Ricochet. Ricochet's very underrated. Anyway, so right. E tier, love guaranteed. That's easy because have you ever, how'd you describe it? You ever seen like The Holiday with Cameron Diaz? And she in that movie makes trailers for other movies. So there's like these really unbelievably cheesy, stupid premise rom-coms that she would make trailers for in that. And Love Guaranteed looks 150% like something she just made a trailer for in The Holiday, and then someone accidentally made it into a real film. It is about this guy who has been on 1,000? Yeah, I think 1,000 online dates, and wants to sue a company called Love Guaranteed because love can't be guaranteed. It says in their fine print. And the lawyer that he hires to do this, then to get acquainted with all of this, she goes online dating and runs into all of the like worst tropes you can. Really, the film like bastardizes the whole idea of online dating, which is more normal now than regular dating, right? So, kind of boomer humor. But then they go to court, and then he throws the case because he's fallen in love with the lawyer. And see, it's not actually bad enough to be in an F on this list. On another list, probably. As a general film, it's not good, but it is a damn sight better than that. So I think that's about fair. I was going to put this on E, but frankly, actually, that's an F. Seriously Single, and this is the problem. Some of these, despite being English language, are made by like Nigerian companies. And that's not a problem inherently. It does mean generally they're lower budget. They do look and feel cinematography-wise, scripting-wise, acting-wise, sometimes more like TV movies, which there's not a problem with. But Netflix doesn't actually in any way advertise some of these when they come on. So there are a couple here that I hardly even knew about until I looked through this list yesterday. I have seen Seriously Single, unfortunately. There are a couple others in here. Olature, I think, is one that I haven't seen because of that. So that's unfortunate. Don't slag off our Nigerian friends. Save your racism for the French. I'm not slagging off anybody, okay? I'm not even sure. That one I don't actually think is. Maybe Olature was the Nigerian one. I think there is a Nigerian one. I'm pretty sure Seriously Single was just South African made. But there's no problem with this. It's just that they don't get advertised, so there are one or two that I missed, which is unfortunate. Seriously Single is bad. It's about a woman, and she doesn't like being single. And then she learns how it can't be described how bad it is. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. It's just really bad. The Other Woman was the last movie Cameron Diaz was in before giving up acting for good. Was it really? The Other Woman? That's a while ago. Is it really? I would have thought some things like Bad Teacher were after that. It's funny you cast Chris Hemsworth as Gaston as you cast him as Prince Charming in Shrek. Oh, yeah, that's true. That is true. That is funny, actually. Right. So that's a pretty good setting for those. Ooh, I'm trying to think what's a D tier. Quite hard to say. I will... I'll leave D tier for a moment. Let's see. You know what's really, really good? Is The Old Guard. Might sneak it. That's slightly kind, but... Yeah, but S tier is lower than normal, because Netflix. So overall, I think, yeah, I'll give that. The Old Guard is a great film. If you haven't seen it, that is one really worth watching. Netflix have been trying for a while now to find a big action/superhero franchise they can make. Because they're desperate for one. They're just desperate for one. Which is fair. Everybody's got one. Netflix wants one. And they made The Old Guard, which is, I think, actually based on, like, a series of graphic novels. And it's so good. Charlize Theron's in it. It's these immortal warriors, and, oh, they get captured. Oh, it's so well done. And it's such an exciting premise for more, because I'm pretty sure they're doing at least a sequel. And there's some other things they've done here. Not all of them are English language, so they're not all here. Where they also tried to make franchises out of things, and it worked less well. So we really have to give credit to The Old Guard for working pretty perfectly. Doing exactly what you want. Ross, no racism. No racism, Ross. I haven't really watched much Horrible Histories. It kind of started as a series a little bit after my kind of time. But I've read most of the books. I read a lot of Horrible Histories books as a child. Right, so yeah, The Old Guard I'm very happy to have there. That is a genuinely great film. Watched the first 2 episodes of Gargoyles today. Really? Oh, that's interesting. Hey, I might actually just dip the Five Bloods down to an A. That's a bit cruel, because I would not say there's a huge amount of difference between The Old Guard and The Five Bloods in how much I like them. The Five Bloods, it's long, as far as I remember. Watching something like, to be fair, it is a year ago since that came out, I think. I think it was about June time The Five Bloods came out. But it feels like watching some of these films that I watched near the start of quarantine is like 6 years ago now. Some of these I know I saw, and if you ask me to say the plot, I will struggle. But yeah, The Five Bloods is very well done. It's good, but it might just miss out. I think that's the dividing line there. That's kind of like 81 out of 100. That's kind of 79 out of 100, something like that. So it's around there. What's a B? Ooh. B is something I still like, but isn't actually, like, great. Tough, you know. Most Netflix films are either bad or good. There's not a lot of good. There is a ton of bad, and it's hard to say where the in-between is. I'll maybe say that The Boys in the Band was good without being, like, great. Mostly because it was adapted from this play, and it's one of those films that really, really felt like it was still just a play, you know? It didn't feel like they did a lot in the adaptive process to make it feel anything less than just static, like a play. Films, they don't really work as well if they're just that static. You need to kind of change them around. It's a small pollinating insect. I'll be here all week. It's interesting why the books were written as the author William Terry Deary didn't like how schools glossed over what children would find interesting about history. That's true. History class is shit, and it shouldn't be. And Horrible Histories was good for that. Yeah, The Boys in the Band was fine. It had a lot of good actors in it. It was very mouthy, as in, like, dialogue. Bleh, just waves of it being thrown at you in this static format. So it did still feel like a play, which didn't help it. But it was still good. Oh, hey, Eurovision Song Contest is on the tier list. It is indeed. Yeah. I'm a big Eurovision fan. I'm not a big Will Ferrell fan. I'm a big Rachel McAdams fan. She didn't actually sing the song at the end. Why couldn't they get somebody who could just sing it? You know, I love Rachel McAdams, but why couldn't they just get somebody who could sing if they needed somebody who could sing? It's not important. Despite that, I think because usually I would put like films that I think are great on like A tier, and then films that are like supremely good on S tier. Netflix, we have to lower our standards. So C tier is kind of for the films that I'm kind of like whatever about. So Eurovision can't go there. There were some things to really like about the Eurovision Song Contest movie. Rachel McAdams is in it. She's a goddess. She's incredible. I love her. The music was generally actually good. I couldn't complain about most of it. It was pretty well done. Will Ferrell, I never love Will Ferrell, really. I don't. Also, I mean, it bastardized a lot of things about Eurovision, which kind of annoys me because I'm quite a genuine fan of it. Have you watched Awake? Oh, yeah. That took me a moment. Yeah. No, I did. I did a 1-minute review for that, I think so. Don't insult history teachers. Oh, you're training to be a history teacher, are you? I mean, I'm not insulting history teachers. I think the curriculum for history classes that I had in school was a bit shit. Unnecessarily so, because history's pretty cool. What are your thoughts on Holmes and Watson? Bad. bad movie, garbage movie, bad movie. Very bad movie. A very bad movie. But yeah, I think that's a good place to set the standard for our C tiers here, because Eurovision, it's not a really bad movie. I found it to be okay. And that's, unfortunately, on this list going to be good enough for a C tier, as we will see going on. So what's kind of D tier then? That's kind of hard, actually. What goes in between films that I'm meh about and films that I actively hate? Ooh. I will say this. A Babysitter's Guide to Monster Hunting. Another one that, a lot of these cases, you guys might not have seen them, but even if not, stick around, because you'll find out what's actually worth going onto Netflix and watching. It's like the top 2 tiers, realistically. It's just like the top 2 tiers. Babysitter's Guide to Monster Hunting is one of those, and I easily get it mixed up with We Can Be Heroes, Secret Society of Second-Born Royals, which also both came out last year. Both very similar ideas. It's this fantasy concept, and it's kid-centric, and it's made for kids. Like, the film is made for children. It's not something that you can really enjoy beyond the age of... I'm not going to say an age. I'll piss off some people who enjoyed it and are older than that, but as an adult, I didn't find a huge amount to enjoy about this. However, it was better than any of those other ones that I saw that are similar last year. It was inoffensive. It's not something you're going to look at and go, God, this is really, really insulting my intelligence. Actually, it kind of is. But only because it's made for kids. And it's well done. Tom Felton as the creepy ogre villain. Quite a good job. None of the leads were that annoying. Most of them were underused. It doesn't matter. It's fine there. And now we kind of have our template here to work off of, so we can just kind of go through them. Love, Wedding, Repeat. I actually enjoyed Love, Wedding, Repeat. It's kind of a weird one. I kind of felt like they could have used the concept better, and then I could have loved it. But I had Sam Claflin and Olivia Munn. They were at this wedding, and it was quite funny. It was very funny. And it was showing us, like, the film stopped at a certain point, and the narrator showed us, like, oh, and here's another version of what could have happened, like, in an alternate universe. And that was a weird concept, but it worked quite well. And it was very funny, and I enjoyed Sam Claflin and Olivia Munn together. So I'll go B tier for that, actually. Just liking it is enough to get B tier in this list. That hurts. What is the average age of your viewers? I have no idea. I actually don't know at all. I feel like normally, like, my content is made roughly... Like, content generally, I think you're making it at your best if you're kind of making it for yourself in a way. So I make stuff that I'd like. Or I try to. And then I kind of think a lot of the time it is people kind of in their 20s mostly watching it, but I don't know. You guys tell me. Whoever is training to be a history teacher, give horrible histories a read and watch the show. Well, you know, it's a good way to learn, but I imagine Ross knows plenty. Let's admit Robert Downey Jr. is a better Sherlock Holmes than Will Ferrell. I don't think anyone's tried to argue differently to that, really. Okay, Tiger Tail. Tiger Tail's it's quite good. This is the problem. I'm going to be sitting here for ages going like, well, it's quite good as well. And if it's quite good, if I don't have much to complain about, I'm probably just going to go B. Yeah. Sergio. Oh my god. It feels like a decade ago that I watched Sergio. That was quite early on last year. It wasn't good. Might be a little bit cruel to go D. I'll maybe go D. I gotta say though, guys, I complain about Netflix a lot. I will continue to. Netflix are generally bad. There was one came out like last Friday. I haven't been able to convince myself to watch it. It's called like Good on Paper. It looks bad. But basically, yeah, they're not good in general. Netflix animation is fucking sick, though. Netflix animated movies are so good. It's not on this list, but Klaus, which came out, I think, 2019, is so good. It's one of my favorite animated movies ever already. It's so, so good. And they were on a good run after they made Klaus. And that run continued with The Willoughbys, which is a fucking sick movie. It's so good. It looks like it shouldn't be. Everything about it makes it seem like it shouldn't be, but it's so good. It's about these kids, their parents don't love them, they go on this adventure, and she can sing. It's like Alessia Cara playing her, and there's these little twins, and they're like demon children. They're so funny. The film is so funny. There's this baby. The baby in The Willoughbys is one of the best characters Netflix has ever come up with. It's so good. I can't recommend watching that enough. I'd actually, if I had to like rank on a tier, I'd like even put that above like The Old Guard. Like it is one of the best Netflix movies of last year. It was probably in my top 5 like films of last year because there was so little outside of Netflix coming out. I love animated Netflix movies. Absolutely, absolutely. Where's the other one? Well, I say other one. There's a couple other ones, but the other big one, Over the Moon. Over the Moon. You know what? I'll put it up there as well. Legitimately, if Netflix is doing something right, it's probably animated. And those two are both astounding films. Over the Moon does a really good job of like diversity as well. It's all based on like Chinese mythology surrounding this moon goddess, and then she goes up there and meets the moon goddess, and it's basically what she sings then when they get there. It's one of the I can't remember her name. It's one of the actresses from the original Hamilton show, and once she sings a song, I was convinced it was the moon's entry into Eurovision. Like, that is the level it was on. It's so poppy and upbeat and happy, and there's a bunch of songs in it, and they're all like that. There's one called Rocket to the Moon. I fucking loved that. That was so good. There's a song based around a ping pong match. It doesn't... Watch it. Watch both of those. If you want to just chill, good time, that's good for everybody, you don't need kids to watch these. If you have them, they'll love it too. Over the Moon, The Willoughbys. Mitchells vs. the Machines on the same level, but that's only internationally distributed. That's worth saying. There's a lot of good movies Netflix internationally distributed last year, and a lot of really bad ones. They're not on this list because they're not actual Netflix originals, even though they might say it in your country. Larva is not a good one, though. The Larva Island, I don't know. That's one of the few I haven't seen. I will trust you. You know what, Micey? You give me a tier if you've seen that. I will trust you on that one because it came at the end of like 4 seasons of a show, I think. So I hadn't watched the show, so I wasn't going to watch the movie. That's one of the few here I haven't seen. The Willoughbys was based on a children's novel. That'll be very interesting to watch. The parents in that film didn't deserve kids. That is true. Problem is, it's really not... Kids aren't given to people on a deserve basis, which is very unfortunate. Right, what else? A Fall from Grace. I don't even want to talk about that. I'm going to probably stick it like there. It sounds like Mrs. Doubtfire when you hear the premise, and then you watch it and it's not funny, and it's not trying to be funny, and that's bad, because it should have been. That's all I'll say about that. What else? Extraction. Hey, you know what? Extraction is definitely another attempt by Netflix to kind of head in the direction of a franchise. Big action-y kind of franchise. And Chris Hemsworth was very good in it. Don't get me wrong. It's a very serious kind of action movie. Very serious. But it worked very well. I'm probably going A. I'd say that's the level that an A deserves on this list. It would be B on a normal list, but it's not a normal list. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth was very good in it. It was brutal. The action sequences were all very well choreographed, very well done. I couldn't stand Mrs. Willoughby's phony British accent, yeah. That's very true. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth was very good in it. The choreographing of the action sequences was very, very well done, so that can go there. Dangerous Lies. Ooh. Yeah. Look, you look at something like Extraction, to Five Bloods, any of these top ones, really. They feel like, oh, obviously, if they'd wanted to, they could have put those in cinemas, and they just didn't. Dangerous Lies is on the flip side, where it's kind of in the middle. There are things like these. All of these, you look at any of these, really, even if they have a good actor in them, those feel like they're made for TV movies. Dangerous Lies is kind of like that, but it does have, like, quite a big actor in it. So it's this weird mix where they've kind of spent the budget on getting Camila Mendes in here, and then they made a movie where it's this kind of thriller, and they find this money, and they're trying to keep it secret that they find this money, and I guess it wasn't that bad. I went in with pretty low expectations. I wanted to bash it because there was someone from Riverdale in it, but it was fairly okay. Which is maybe good enough for a C, unfortunately, on this list. I don't want to give it a C, but I didn't want to give Eurovision a C. I kind of have to accept that I don't have to actively enjoy the C's on this list. Wow. The cat was my favourite character. Oh, and the Willoughbys? Yeah, it was Ricky Gervais, wasn't it? Did the cat. He was very good. All Day and Night is one of those... Yeah... I didn't think much of it. Some people thought that was quite a good one. I didn't really think much of it. Maybe to the tune of a D again, actually. That's maybe a harsh D. But I didn't think much of that. Oh, wow. The half of it. Now, Netflix... They've kind of not made as many of them recently, or they've kind of streamlined them into franchises. The teen rom-com. The teen rom-com. Netflix has a history with the teen rom-com. Netflix made Sierra Burgess is a Loser, which isn't on this list because it came out before 2020, but that's one of the worst films I've ever seen. Oh, God, I hated it. God, I hated it. They made Tall Girl, also one of the worst films I've ever seen. And a lot of these films are trying, and they just have the same point. A lot of these Netflix teen rom-com films have the same point, and it's be yourself, even if you're different, or it's okay to be different. But some of them are the worst at getting these messages across. The half of it is probably the best one they've ever made. Yeah. I enjoyed, like, the first Kissing Booth film. I enjoyed that well enough. The To All the Boys films are fine. But the half of it, wow. Oh my gosh. Such a good film about friendship. It does such a good job. To be fair, the main girl is a lesbian in it. But it does such a good job of having that platonic female-male relationship thing that most films can't manage to do properly. It's such a good one. Is it an S tier? It's very close. It's very close. It might just miss out. I might just miss out. Feels like it's been a while since I caught a live stream. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Not too much going on here, man. If you want to stick around despite not knowing any of these, you will find the few on Netflix that's actually worth watching. Is Heartstrings up here? Heartstrings? I don't know what that is. I don't think so, no. Yeah, it was Ricky Gervais that did the cat. Yeah, it was. Oh God, The Wrong Missy. It was David Spade did the starring role in this, not Adam Sandler, but it feels like an Adam Sandler comedy. That was really bad. Really, really fucking bad. He meets this girl and he's really hyped to invite her to do something, but he invites the wrong girl, and then got to spend all this time with the wrong girl because he's too awkward to just say, no, not you, go away. I'll give it an E, because despite being very, very bad, offensively bad, it's still not quite on the level of these two. Oh, no. Netflix is making an original series based on Sonic and will be called Sonic Prime and will be about Sonic traveling the multiverse to stop Dr. Robotnik, who's trying to assemble an army of Robotniks. Wow. It sounds like some Rick and Morty shit. Dolly Parton tells stories from her life stories? Oh, God. Oh, was that... That was maybe like a documentary, though, Netflix counted it as. I haven't put the documentaries up here because even I haven't seen a lot of those. I've watched a lot of Netflix garbage over the last year, guys, but even I haven't seen a lot of those. Lovebirds. I like both of the leads in Lovebirds. I didn't mind the concept too much. It wasn't good, I didn't think, but it was... You know what? I'll give it the C. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think a lot of... There is a huge list you can find on, like, Wikipedia of all the Netflix movies that have come out in here. And then below that are all the documentaries. And while I would have put them on, or put some of them on, I just don't know. I just haven't bothered watching a lot of them. I've watched some. I haven't watched Heartstrings. You'll see why. I've got quite enough Dolly Parton on this list as it is. Oh, man. I haven't even got to the Christmas movies yet. Last Days of American Crime was something I kind of got myself hyped up for. That came out around this time last year, I feel. It was a summer one. It was 2.5 hours long, and I just kind of thought, oh, well, they've got to know what they're doing if they're making a 2.5 hour movie, right? Not a great concept, actually. In the end, when I actually saw it, I was like, no, I don't see that there is a way I would have really loved this concept. It was kind of a sci-fi idea. It's not super tragic, but I'll probably go D. Feel the Beat. Oh, God. That was Sophia Carson doing a Netflix movie. There's a lot of these cases where it's just like, oh, that was this person doing a Netflix movie. Sophia Carson did a Netflix movie. And she wanted to be a Broadway star. She wanted to get into Juilliard. It was one of those kind of things, but didn't. So she went home to her small hometown, found this guy that she used to like, and then got a job teaching dance to a bunch of kids, specifically so that she could get them to a dance competition where she gets to dance with them as their teacher, because there was going to be like a big Juilliard or Broadway guy, I can't remember which one it was. There was going to be a big guy as a judge in this children's dance competition that would then see her dancing so she could get into Broadway. It worked. Somehow it worked. It's not a good film again, but it was actually, for being this like 27-year-old that's teaching these kids dance and growing compassion towards them and falling in love with this guy. Like, it was fine. It was fine. I can't complain overly, so I guess that's a C. It feels painful to be putting that in a C. You should rank Disney Plus stuff next. Sure, but what do you mean by stuff? What's Disney Plus stuff? Because they don't have enough original movies that are Disney Plus original movies yet to rank those. But I guess TV series they probably do, but I haven't seen every single TV series they've done. I was thinking a cool tier list would be all of Bo Burnham's songs, but then I realized they'd be 95% S tier. True, though. I haven't ranked those yet. Oh, you asked for those to be ranked, Mike. The Netflix specials he's done. I'll absolutely do that soon if I can. I just want to watch those back, honestly. I just want to watch them back. Check out that animated movie made for adults, America something. Okay, I don't know what that one is, but sure. Desperados. Ooh. Desperados is bad movie. Oh, God, right. There's this woman. It's Nassim Pedrad. If you've seen the live-action Aladdin, she was the princess's maid? Friend? Whatever. You know, she was the one that fell in love with Genie. And she was good in that. And I like her well enough. So she's this woman who meets Robbie Amell, and she really likes Robbie Amell because he's got a six-pack. And basically, she can't get her life together. She can't get a job, she can't get a boyfriend, but now she's got a boyfriend. She's really excited about it. But then he goes to Mexico for a few days, and for some reason, she gets it into her head that he's cheating on her or something, or he's going to, or he's not serious about the relationship. So she gets drunk with her friends and sends him an email saying, fuck you and your dick and stuff. Really just randomly foul stuff, sending to him, and then it turns out he was in a huge car crash or something, and he's in hospital. So she goes to Mexico to break into his hotel to delete the email from his phone. And I hate her. I don't hate Nasa Madrid, but I hate her character in this. And her friends are just going on this weird spiritual journey. Anna Camp is one of her friends, and she meets Heather Graham, who cameos in it, and then they have, like, sex. And that's their whole thing. I don't know. So I'm gonna give that an E. It's bad. It's probably not as bad as Seriously Single, which is in a similar genre, so you can compare them, but it's bad. Fatal Affair is also bad. I feel like 95% of what we've got left here is just going to be, by the way, this one also sucks. Fatal Affair feels exactly like it was a TV-made movie. There's this woman. She's got a family. She's got a husband. She meets this guy who she used to know in school or something. And she goes out to a club with him. And then makes out with him in the bathroom at the club. She's not a good person, but then calls it off because she's married. Remembered that one at the last minute. And then she goes home, and then he slowly turns out to be super crazy and chases her down and stalks her and tries to murder her family. So it's just one of those. It's just a stalker movie. But it's bad. It's bad, and it's boring, and it's bad. And the guy in it, the villain, is literally like a demon. Like he's like omnipresent. He knows exactly what is going on everywhere. Fucking insane. It's probably another E. It feels slightly mean, but it's probably another E. No, I'm gonna leave it on E. I'm gonna stick with that at first instinct. Larva Island is one of the few here I haven't seen. Very few. And it follows 4 seasons of a very child-centric TV show. It looks bad, it sounds bad, and Mousy says that it's bad after having seen it, so I'm going to just put it on F. E. Okay, E. Yeah, I'll go E. If you say E, I'll go E. You have no idea how pissed off I was when I came to and realised that I missed the last 3 hours or so of the Skyrim stream. Oh, it's okay, man. Yeah, I mean, frankly, it was definitely the worst 3 hours of the stream. I was completely fine for 24 hours, and I was feeling good by the end of 24 hours. But then I got very much stuck trying to finish the last bit by some real shenanigans. And those are the kind of annoying things that it just so happens to happen at that moment. It would piss you off anytime. It really pissed me off because I was 25 hours in. Kids enjoy Larva. Fair enough, but yeah, I always get annoyed at that. When people make excuses for something by saying it's like, oh, it's made for kids. That's fine, but so are Disney movies. And I still fucking love Disney movies. Some Disney movies are some of my favorite movies. But kids still love them. you see what I mean? You can make it for both. Just making it for kids is not necessarily lazy, but in a lot of cases it comes off something like that. Maybe wait till Monsters at Work is released. How to do Disney Plus stuff. Could do, for sure. Could do, yeah. I'm interested in Monsters at Work, but I'm worried that they're lying about how much Mike and Sully are going to be in it. Or not lying, but they're tricking us in the trailer. They're kind of like, oh yeah, we got Billy Crystal and John Goodman. They're going to be in it. How much? The trailer seemed to very much focus on a new monster, and I'm like, that's what it's about, right? The Kissing Booth 2. You know what? I really liked The Kissing Booth. I thought it was a good film. I enjoyed that there was this platonic boy-girl relationship, which Hollywood struggles with. I like Joey King a lot. I really enjoyed her, and I found out about Joel Courtney through this and loved him. Thought he was great. And then they made The Kissing Booth 2. Banger soundtrack. I have to say that. There's a lot of songs in that I was like, fuck yeah, and looked up after and I've listened to since and really loved. Some of my favourite songs I found last year from The Kissing Booth 2. Everything else about it, it's fine. It is fine. It is fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to give it a B, though. I'll give it a C. It's fine. And being fine deserves a C on this list, unfortunately. Horse Girl, not so fine. I'm a big fan of Alison Brie. I loved Glow. I love her in Community. I did not like Horse Girl. I'll just... Yeah. I'll go D. That seems fair. Work It is a classic case of, oh, it's a Netflix movie. Sabrina Carpenter's doing a Netflix movie. Liza Koshy's in it too. Oh, what? Wow, okay. And because, not gonna lie, because Liza Koshy was in it, I came in to Work It thinking, hell yeah, I'm gonna be able to trash this in a 1 minute review. I'm gonna be able to trash it, be like, Liza Koshy acting garbage. I don't know, I don't think Liza Koshy's a great actor. I don't think she was great at it. She was very obvious, over the top, kind of ridiculous, annoying character. But the main thing was really Sabrina Carpenter and Jordan Fisher and doing these really good choreographed dancing sequences, and I kind of enjoyed it. I'm expecting to hate it and going in and being like, actually, yeah, I just liked it. Maybe too nice to it. Maybe go, I've been shocked by not hearing this, so I like it a lot. I liked it well enough. But still, I'm almost debating putting it on B. I really shouldn't, though. It was trash. It was fun trash, but it was trash. Project Power is another classic case of Netflix just trying to make a superhero franchise appear out of nowhere. It might have worked. I think they might be working on a Project Power 2. It's not really worth it. The concept isn't that good or original or fun. Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt were good in it, they were fine. It wasn't like astounding, but to be fair, I did enjoy it throughout. Pretty clean enjoyment, so it probably is worth a B. It's kind for this list, but yeah, no, that's fair. Fearless is another case of one I haven't seen, and I have no idea how. I have no idea how I missed that. But I found out about it when I was kind of looking up for this list, and I was like, what? I have no idea how I missed it. I've never seen that on Netflix appearing, suggesting to me, despite having watched every other original animated movie they've ever made. So if you guys know anything about Fearless, let me know, but I'll leave it blank for now. That's weird. The Sleepover is bad. It's a bad movie, it's bad. Malin Akerman is in it. Great. Joe Montellagano is in it. Ken Marino is in it. Fearless is great. Oh, really? Wow, that's very strange that I haven't seen that. Yeah, no, Sleepover, basically, their mom used to be a spy. She's not anymore. Their dad very much didn't used to be a spy and didn't know about this. And then her ex-boyfriend comes back to get her to help him with some heist or mission. The kids don't actually get involved. It's like Spy Kids, right? The kids go and they find some spy stuff and they try to get involved. They don't really. It's Raiders of the Lost Ark. If Indiana Jones wasn't in Raiders of the Lost Ark, the plot wouldn't change, That thing. It's the same thing. If the kids just stayed at home like they were told to, nothing would have changed. The film would have worked out exactly like it did. It's not good, but is it as bad as some of the E's? I don't want to give it a D tier, but honestly, I kind of have to. It's got a similar score to something like A Babysitter's Guide to Monster Hunting, so I guess I have to. Altogether now is just Ollie Cravalho doing a Netflix movie. This is, you see the pattern here. It's just insert actor here. They got them. They spent half the budget on them, and then didn't make a great movie out of it. Altogether now is just drama. It's just lighthearted, mildly uplifting drama. She's just homeless, her and her mother, and then there's like a big fundraiser thing, and then they give the money to her, and was it to save her dog? This feels like 16 years ago I saw this movie, but it only came out around August last year. It's only been about 10 months. Oh, wow. It was actually very... inoffensively fine. It was like it was like if you saw a TV movie and went, actually, that was quite nice. You know, it was on that level. Fear List is about a teenage boy who has to look after the baby triplets of a superhero from his video game, all the while hiding from both the government and an alien supervillain who wants the babies. Okay, I kind of don't want to like outright give it like a huge high score without having seen it. But how about we put it on B? Okay, I'll assume it is good. I'll take your word for it, William. Altogether, now I think I'll actually stick on B as well. I think Ravello's very good, and I'd like to see her in more stuff. She was the voice of Moana, if you don't know. But I hadn't seen her in maybe anything live action before that one, and I really enjoyed her in live action form. So I'd really like to see her in more stuff. I'm thinking of ending things. Wow, it can't be described. Not really. If you've ever seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, I'm pretty sure it was the same guy. And it's very much in the same vein. It is confusing. It's kind of this really meta psychological way of thinking about like love and things like that. This girl's just going to her boyfriend's house to meet his parents for the first time. And then it's kind of half like psychological horror, half nothing. It's hardly a movie. It's very confusing. It's not... I didn't enjoy it. I certainly didn't enjoy it. It was well made, but yeah, even once you look up afterwards, with which you sometimes have to do for this kind of film, and like what it is actually about, what it's meant to be about, you're kind of like, huh? And I still didn't think it was really great. It's not tragically bad though, even not really understanding it. So I'll maybe go like D. Another sequel. There's actually quite a lot of sequels came out last year for Netflix. They've just desperately been trying to create franchises, and I mean, I liked the first Kissing Booth, and the second one was alright. And I really enjoyed the first Babysitter. If you haven't seen The Babysitter on Netflix, came out in like 2018, watch it. Just watch it. That would almost be like an S-tier film. It doesn't deserve to be. It's kind of trashy, but it's actually so good. It's just a horror comedy that they really nailed. And I don't say that lightly about Netflix, but they really nailed that one. The Babysitter 2 is not as good. It over-sexualized Jenna Ortega when she was still only 17, which made me uncomfortable. It just brought a lot of people back from the dead again, did more demon contract stuff. Some of the sequences were still very funny. Overall, it wasn't actually a good film, I didn't think. I'll still go C. Same as The Kissing Booth 2. I'd put them around the same level. Films that I liked the first one and didn't so much the second one, but they still had some of the charm of the first. Give it a watch. Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely will. I'm shocked that I haven't seen it, actually. Pretty much Hotel Transylvania rated R. Oh my god. Well, okay. The Devil All the Time. Ooh. Tom Holland branching out. Like he did for Cherry. Didn't like Cherry. That was on Apple TV. This one, it's got a big ensemble cast. It's got like Robert Pattinson as this church minister who seduces Tom Holland's little cousin, was it? And there's a lot of other characters, and it kind of interweaves their stories in the Deep South. And it was good. It was good. It was well done. It was well acted throughout. Some of the stories were a little confused and all over the place, but generally, it did a very good job and was good right to the end, and wrapped things up quite well. On this list, that's actually approaching being enough for an A tier, so No, I'll give it the B. I'm being particular about what gets on A tier here. But yeah. I think I'll give it the B. I think that's fair enough. A young church minister? Weird. Well, Robert Pattinson's not that young anymore. He's like late 30s. It's kind of okay. You can certainly get away with that. Devil All the Time is one I actually saw, and I thought it was a fairly good film. A tier, I'd say. Yeah, it is. It is certainly. It was a good job of it. Okay, I'll go A tier. It's a slightly soft A, but I'll give it the A. It was well done. Like, if it had been released in cinemas, you wouldn't have batted an eye. To All the Boys 2, right? Yeah, because the third one only came out this year, right? To All the Boys 2. I hate Noah Centineo. I hate him, guys. The Perfect Date, which was the actual Netflix movie that he was like the star of, was really, really fucking bad. It's not here, though. It didn't come out in 2020. But him being like the male lead of these films has been a pet peeve for me. Because I really like Lana Condor. I'm really behind her, and I like Lara Jean as a character. But here's the thing. I think these films are always chicken shit when it comes to just saying, all right, liked this person at one stage. Now there's this new person. I'll go for them instead. All rom-coms are chicken shit when it comes to that. That is the thing for so many rom-coms, isn't it? Kissing Booth 2. This other new guy comes along. Your boyfriend's off at college. Nope. Stick with the old one. To All the Boys 2. Jordan Fisher comes along. Whew! And you just stick with Noah Centineo? I hated that. I hated that because I thought Jordan Fisher's character seemed like a nicer, better person as well in general. But it chicken shitted out of that, and that disappointed me. Still, though, I think this is probably my favourite of those three films. This one. Yeah, I'd say that's fair. So I might give it the B. I did still enjoy it as a film. It is still funny and good as a film. That just annoyed me, that decision making. I'll probably give it the B. I think that's fair. Allure is what I was talking about earlier. This is an African-made film, but it is in English language. And Netflix just doesn't even vaguely give you notice when these ones come on, like they don't for foreign language made ones. So I just completely missed it and only found out about it recently. I don't know much about it. Apparently not great, which is a shame, but if any of you guys have, let me know. Kind of doubt it, but if any of you guys have, let me know. If not, I will just kind of chuck it on like a D tier. That seems like a base place to put something that people don't seem to have loved very much. Vampires versus the Bronx. It's a weird one. Vampires versus the Bronx is weird, because it didn't seem like it was really directed all that much at children. Like, they're... the actual vampires in it and stuff were kind of like, whoa, you know, like, not directed at young children as a film. That being said, it felt too childish. It felt for like a, I don't know if it was actually an R-rated film, but it was probably like, it was not like a U, you know? It felt weird. It felt like it was weirdly directed at children for something that clearly wasn't from some of the content material in it. It also wasn't great. It wasn't terrible, though. It wasn't... I didn't love it. I got myself a little bit hyped up thinking, oh, this one looks like quite a lot of fun from the trailer, and then it really wasn't. So it would be kind to give it the C, I think. I'll maybe go D. This is Hubie Halloween. When Adam Sandler released a film called Uncut Gems, which was an actual dramatic, serious film that he starred as the lead in, which was actually well made and a good film, he said, if I don't get an Oscar nomination for Best Actor for this film, I'm going to make the worst film ever. That's what he said. He did not get a Best Actor nomination. I think the day he actually does, even if he turns in a good performance, will just be a day that offends cinema. But then this came out a few months later. Came out at Halloween last year. And I just assumed, after watching it, that it was the one. It was the worst film ever that he tried to make. Because it was that bad. It's that bad. And this is coming from someone who literally, when I was like 12? 12? Yeah, I was probably as old as 12. I loved Adam Sandler. And I gathered up, like, most of the films he's ever been in. I have most of them still here on DVD. And it was only after watching, like, all of them that I realized that Adam Sandler fucking sucks, and most of his films fucking suck. But it's still like, I never hated a lot of his style of comedy when it's done well, so it's not even just saying I'm hating on him. Hubie Halloween was just really fucking bad. The 40-year-old version was another one that I kind of had hopes for to some degree. Didn't think it overly really lived up to them. I was kind of disappointed in it, but it was still quite well made. It's hard to say it was like on the level of some of these bad ones. I'll probably go see. It's one that I would have been like harsher on had I actually seen it in like a cinema. But the fact that I didn't have to, it makes it better. The best film in all of last year, released anywhere for me, and what I was disappointed to not see winning Best Picture after it got nominated, is The Trial of the Chicago 7. I love Aaron Sorkin. Aaron Sorkin is one of the best, if not the best, writer and a strong director as well, I'll say, in all of cinema. I think his writing is so beautiful and fantastic. I love The West Wing. It's my favorite TV show, maybe just ever. And he created that. And then he brought out this. And if you haven't seen The Trial of the Chicago 7, go watch it. It's so well made. And it's very, for a big film that was in like Oscars territory, very much so for this year's Oscars, it's really fun and all over the place. Adam Sandler movies are the type of movies that you need to unplug your brain to enjoy. Like if you could stick your head in a microwave before watching to fry your brain cells, that would be best. That's fair. That's very fair. You really, you need to be like 12, like I was when I enjoyed a lot of them. There are some like The Waterboy that I daren't watch again. Because I'm like, I just won't enjoy it, will I? That's sad. Like, there are some, like 50 First Dates, I watched like a year ago again. And didn't enjoy it as much as I used to. Which is a real shame. It is a real shame, because that was one I used to like. And there are a few like that. Like The Wedding Singer. You go back and watch The Wedding Singer, it's not actually that good. I should tier list rank Adam Sandler movies. That'll be a disaster. Because I've seen most of them. Rebecca, the Rebecca remake. Rebecca is a very good film. The 1941, the original. This one, look, I love Lily James. I'm fine with Armie Hammer. Don't actually love him. He's been in a lot of bad stuff at this stage. But I love Lily James. So when I saw that she was the one going to be starring in this, I was kind of like, okay. But, look... This is going to be controversial no matter what way I say it. The process of a lot of people trying to bring stronger female characters into cinema is great. It's something that really needs to be done, because it always used to be the case that there really weren't enough strong female characters in cinema, and I love the fact that there are a lot more these days. The point of the book Rebecca, which I've also read. I've read the book and I've seen the 1940 film. Is the protagonist, the unnamed protagonist, she doesn't even get a name, isn't a strong character. So the fact that they had Lily James come in and made her into a stronger character kind of made things disjointed. It didn't really work as well, and yeah, but it was still a well-done film, a well-made film. I can't complain overly about it. So I think on this list, I still have to give it a B, judging from what we've got on B and what we've got on C. Yeah. Ridiculous 6 was one of the strangest cinematic experiences that I've ever had the pleasure of sitting through. Watching Taylor Lautner spicking by around, and this is something I never thought I'd see. Yeah. I saw that one. Very early addition to the Netflix original movies. That is holy offensiveness, Batman. Wow. Adam Sandler's like that, though. He just keeps making these really offensive movies. They just try and offend a lot of people, and he just keeps getting to do it, which seems weird today, right? You imagine he would have been stopped by somebody by now. We're reaching the Christmas ones. Holiday It. When I first saw the trailer for Holiday It, I was like, oh, Jesus. Person who used to be bigger than she is now, Emma Roberts, and this guy I've just not really heard of, doing a really basic rom-com that's just, oh, we're gonna be each other's holidates. We're gonna date each other on holidays so that our families don't complain. It's like 1,000 other things, okay? I kind of liked it. I kind of enjoyed it. I gotta say, it surprised me by not caring overly that it was simple, trashy, and just having a lot of fun with the concept. And I really liked the characters. I thought like the two leads did really well. And this is all very strange coming out of my mouth in regards to a Netflix original Christmas movie, which I consider on the level generally of Hallmark Christmas movies, in that they've got nothing going for them. But I enjoyed Holiday. I will watch it again probably this Christmas and go, yeah, not, yeah, but yeah. So I think it'll be harsh to give it a C. It feels ridiculous. Don't get me wrong, it feels insane to give it a B. But this list of Bs, it can go on this list of Bs. Most regular lists of B tier things I make, no. This list, okay. I'm just going to stick all tier on D. And, ooh, the last thing he wanted is one that slipped by me for a long time, but I eventually saw it. It's the weirdest thing, because Netflix doesn't talk about it. Like, you think it's the kind of thing, oh gosh, look at who they got. They got Anne Hathaway and Ben Affleck starring in this political thriller. You would think that's something that Netflix is still recommending to you, like 6 months after it got released. I never saw it turn up until I did look at some list of Netflix original things specifically and went, oh, what? And it's not good. That's why. It's, it's quite well made in a lot of ways, but it is quite bad, so it feels kind to give it a C, but I might. Yeah, okay. His House is another one. It's actually a British-made film, but I think most of the actors in it are African. And it's basically about these two immigrants coming over to live in the UK. And they get assigned this house, and it's haunted. And it sounds like such a basic, dumb premise, but it was very well received, actually. Like, the first scores I saw, I remember when it first came out, were, like, really good. And I was like, what? And then I watched it. And I didn't like it. I didn't care for it. No. It was, not great. I don't know. I think people really appreciated the points it was making about the immigrant experience currently, the refugee experience. Which were very modern points it made. As a horror, though, it was bad. It feels harsh to give it an E, though. I'll give it a D as well. Here I thought we were going to fill up the F tier at last. Just a crazy long F tier on this list. We haven't so much, not really. Operation Christmas Drop is bad. It's bad. Oh, I was talking about Armie Hammer and how many bad things he's been in earlier. Alexander Ludwig has been in nothing good, maybe? He's nothing, not really. It sounded like a fun premise compared to some of the Christmas films that Netflix brought out last year. And then I watched it, and it wasn't. So I'll give it an E. It didn't even get onto the advent calendar in the end. I think I watched it too late. But yeah, it was bad. Citation. There it is. That is the other. I think it's another African-made one. And it's the only other one here. Oh, no, Uncorked, actually. Or Uncorked and Citation are the other two here that I haven't seen. Yeah. But my sister, I think it was, somebody watched this. Who told me that? Somebody had watched this one and said it was bad. I don't think it's bad, though. I'm going to give it a D as well. Put a lot of these on D. Jingle Jangle. It was fine. It was slightly exhausting, but it was fine. It was fine. It was fine. It's one of those that, yeah, it was more for kids, I think. I think that's what it was. But it also The story, just I was watching it going, yeah, okay, whatever, the whole time. I will give it a C though, because it was well done as much as I, meh, you know. The Princess Switch 2. The Princess Switch switched again. The Billboard feed was hilarious. Thank you so much. Thank you. The Princess Switch was another one, kind of similar to Holiday in that it was stupid. It was really stupid, but it was Christmassy. It had actors that I liked well enough, and it just worked well. It just worked to some degree. The Princess Switch switched again. Took that and thought it was the meminess and funniness that we enjoyed, so they just did more of that, much more. And it wasn't great. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It was not great. Vanessa Hudgens plays 3 characters. Having said that, I love Vanessa Hudgens. I can't... I'm just going to put it on C. I can't go anywhere else with it. Dolly Parton's Christmas on the Square. Dolly Parton's Christmas on the Square. Again, I hate this. I hate that this exists. It pains me deep inside that this exists. Was it bad enough that I could put it on an F along with these? No. Damn it! I want to put it on the F, but I can't. I can't. Hillbilly Elegy is another one. I thought that was going to be good. Like, it was Amy Adams and Glenn Close. I was like, oh, that's going to be good, right? No, I didn't think it was, at least. And I was shocked, because those are 2 great actresses who I love in a lot of stuff. Hillbilly Elegy was not a good movie. It was trashy. And it was oversimplified. It felt oversimplified. I don't know. But I'm going to put it on probably still C. Yeah. Unfortunately, it goes along with these as opposed to those. I don't want to give these things high marks, but we have to average it out, right? Otherwise, like, halfway up the D tier would all of that would just be an F, you know? That's not a fun-looking tier list. I wonder how difficult it would be to do, like, movie tournaments. Like, it could be a stream, and we could just put movies of a genre head-to-head and see which movie reigns supreme in that category. Wow. That's an interesting idea, Mike. That is an interesting idea. It's kind of hard to... That is an interesting idea. I like that. Oh, Horse Girl, I like that movie. Really? Look, I really like Alison Brie, don't get me wrong, but I didn't think it was great. Oh, thank you, Andrew. It was weird. It was a weird process messaging some per woman that works at the company and saying, can I buy a billboard for a couple of weeks? And she was like, sure, what's the company name? And I was like, I don't... Yeah, Pop Culture Shark. Yeah, that's the company name, I guess. It was a very, very strange experience going through that, but it was kind of funny. It was pretty funny. The Christmas Chronicles Part 2 is just another Netflix sequel. We've seen a bunch of them here, and generally they're just going on C. Kissing Booth 2, Babysitter 2, Princess Switch 2. Christmas Chronicles disappointed me more than most of those. Yeah, I really like the Christmas Chronicles. If you haven't seen the first one, I'd chuck it like maybe high A. High A. Maybe not quite an S. Great movie, though. Kurt Russell is a great Santa Claus. The Christmas Chronicles 2 was just a load of shit. It was just shit. It was just outright bad. All of these other ones where I'm like, nah, it's like sequel problems, normal sequel drop down in quality. No, Christmas Chronicles took quite a dive. So it's going to go in D. Still not actually bad enough to be like an E, but like, oh, it hurt me. Have you seen Vivarium? Oh, no. But I have heard about it. Is it good? I had a guttural laugh at the bit where you were wigging out in the car silently. Oh, literally the bit in that video where I have like the big screen of like loads of me like reacting to different things and it like zooms out on it. Like me and my brother I got him to take the camera and we just tried to figure out like 49 different places in and around our house to stand and film like 10 seconds of me going, damn it! Worked out quite well. I can't stress enough that you should watch that one ASAP. Oh, really? Vivarium. Okay, let me write that down somewhere. Better remember that. Thanks, King. Vivarium. I will check that out. Is it on anything? It's not on Netflix, right? Probably would have seen if it was. There is an interesting one Netflix has got coming out today, actually. I think it's just called America, the Motion Picture. It's like an animated one. And I don't really know what it's about. But it's made by the same people who did Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So I think it's got to be great. I'm kind of hyped to watch it. I think it's out today. Are there going to be bloopers from that video yesterday? I don't actually know if there's a bloopers video in there. There were some funny moments that weren't included, maybe, but probably not. Might do a bloopers video at some stage, amalgamating bloopers from a few different vlogs once I've done a few more again recently. Anyone who hasn't watched that video on this channel, go watch it. Thank you guys. It was an experience. Yeah. Mank, right? Wow. Mank is about Herman J. Mankiewicz, who wrote Citizen Kane. And kind of what he was going through around the time. And I feel like watching it back now, Citizen Kane dates. Unfortunately, I feel like watching it back now, it does date. In a way that you kind of go, no, I wanted to enjoy this more than I am doing. But Mank, telling the story of that and how it came together and stuff, was phenomenal. That's got to be another S. The two big Netflix Oscar contenders from last year were Trials of Chicago 7 and Mank. And those are maybe my... It's bold to say. Those are my two favourite of the Best Picture nominees from last year, honestly. I've seen most of the others now. Still haven't seen Promising Young Woman. That still hasn't come out in cinemas here anywhere. Upload bloopers to your alt channel. Oh, I could do some of like random blooper bits to the Mighty Pieman channel, the Shorts channel, if you guys don't know. That's a thing. If I've got some random bits. The bit at the end where you had the audio overlaid while you were giving a thumbs up underneath the billboard got me too. Reminded me of like Parks and Rec. Wow, that's high praise. Thank you so much. Yeah, finding a job is hell, guys. But you guys helped me. You guys, over the last month or two, because of a lot of the people who are here right now, like it was out of the channel's pocket buying the billboard for 2 weeks, not out of mine particularly. So that was really cool. The prom is offensive. The prom had James Corden playing a gay man. And the way in which he did it made me temporarily agree with the people who say that only gay actors should be allowed to play gay characters, because that can happen when just any straight actor is allowed to play it. Vouch, great video. Thank you so much, guys. So yeah, James Corden in that was unbearable. Unbearable. The others, didn't really get on board with anything about this. And it was this big musical experience, helping out, like, you know, kind of inside the LGBT community, or meant to be. And it felt more like it was just people on the outside of that going, oh yeah, if we do it LGBT, then people are gonna get really excited about it. And to be fair, I'm not a big Ryan Murphy fan. Like, there are some seasons of American Horror Story I'm like, no, that's very good, but most of his work, I don't get overly on board with it. The Prom, they can go there. Yeah. All the Bright Places, just another teen rom, that's it. No comedy in All the Bright Places. Nope. Overly serious, I think, is a fair term. But to be fair, Elle Fanning, big fan of her. Justice Smith, I think he's okay. I liked him well enough in, like, Detective Pikachu. In this, he was fine. I hoped it would be a little better than it was going to be. I expected it to be worse than it was. It's close, probably, to a B, because I did think it was, like, quite well made, but it is so, like... Long stretches of it are just very dreary and depressing, you know? We got you, Papa Shark, Best YouTuber 2021. Thank you, guys. I don't think I'm going to win anything for that, but, you know, as long as you guys think so. I'll put it on C. It's close. It's close. A California Christmas is one that actually felt like a Hallmark movie. That actually felt like it was just going to be a Hallmark movie. But to be fair, this is the one real piece of credit I'll give it. It's a husband and wife, the lead two in it, and that always helps. These kind of gentle, trashy, romantic, comedic films. If there's actual chemistry between the leads, then it's not normally that bad. It's not possible for it to be that bad if they actually have chemistry, and they do. They do. It's very obvious. So I might kindly go as high as like a C. It was definitely a damn sight better than the Christmas Chronicles Part 2, unfortunately. That hurt me that was true, but yeah, it was. It was. Matt Rainey's Black Bottom. Another Oscar-y one, but one that a lot of people got... Oh, wow. Thank you for the $100 donation, Mike. I mean, the channel, it's still doing okay. It's wow. Thank you for that so much. That's incredibly kind. Let's get some dollars back into the channel after that big purchase. That's very kind of you, but it's okay. You know, it's fine. Like, I'm doing fine. I was happy to spend most of the donation money I've gotten over the last month or two on the billboard. You know, that was funny. that was just funny to me. But thank you so much. That's very, very kind, Mike. Thank you. Papa Shark for life. God, is this name catching on? That's all right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Matt Rainey's Black Bottom was another one. It didn't actually get a nomination, I don't think, for Best Picture. And it got a Best Actor nomination for Chadwick Boseman. And then people were annoyed because he didn't win it after dying. And obviously that's not a good enough reason for him to win it. But I can't really comment, because I think The Father is the other one. I've seen all of the Best Picture nominees except for The Father, and... Thank you for the donation, Andrew. Agree on a smaller scale. Guys, everything really is huge. Any time I see a donation or new member, especially, like, it's huge for me. So don't stress about size of donation. I'll keep saying Papa Shark until it catches on. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Do you just want anything moved anywhere? Nobody really knows about many of these films. Every dono is awesome. This is absolutely true. It's really an astounding vote of confidence every time someone donates. Matt Rainey's Black Bottom was very good. I probably did like it more than To Five Bloods, which would make it an S tier. Yeah. I think so. I liked it more than those A's, probably. It suffers again from being... It was originally a play, and it's been adapted, and it still feels quite static and wordy. It's overly scripted, kind of. But it was very good despite that. It was very, very good despite that. Not on the level for me of, like, Minecraft Trials of Chicago 7, so I was kind of happy enough for it not to get a Best Picture nomination. I was surprised, though. I thought the Academy would just vote for Chadwick Boseman after he died. And nope. I thought he could have been nominated for To Five Bloods for Best Supporting Actor as well, honestly. The Midnight Sky was one of the very last films to come out last year on Netflix. And George Clooney starred in it and directed it, and it was about the end of the world, and there was this little girl with him, and there was, like, Felicity Jones, I think it was. Yeah. Was up in this spaceship coming home to Earth, and George Clooney was trying to convince them to turn around. He was trying to contact them and be like, no, go away, because the Earth's dying, or it's exploding, or something. And I thought it was going to be really good, and it was... I think it was fine. People really trashed it quite hard, but I thought it was fine. It was quite depressing. It was a bit slow at times. The reveal at the end was kind of dumb, but it was not a bad film, I don't think. We Can Be Heroes is a bad film. Oh my god. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it. I try to give leniency if it's being made specifically for kids, guys, but oh my god. Oh my god. We Can Be Heroes is the follow-up to The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl, I saw that when I was, like, relatively young, and I thought it was shit then. And then I watched it again, like a year or two ago, and I thought it was still shit. And We Can Be Heroes, in the same vein, is so overly child-friendly, like, way overly. Like, you can make something that kids will enjoy and adults can also enjoy. Or you can make something that adults won't really enjoy, but they'll watch with the kids. And then you could make this, which is... It's got to be offending the intelligence of anyone who's over 5, honestly. And it's so irritating. Everything about it is so irritating. It's so annoying. There's so many children and their powers are so basic and shit. And improperly used. You know, there's literally one of those kids that can go back in time. And they use that like once. It deserves the F. It deserves the death sentence. Spencer Confidential. Just Netflix doing a little action comedy work. Mark Wahlberg was in it. And I was harsh on this film. I don't know if I ever actually went and reviewed it, but I was harsh on this film when I saw it because it's Mark Wahlberg and Peter Berg. Peter Berg is the director. He works with Mark Wahlberg a lot. They did... Let me think what they did. They did Lone Survivor, Deepwater Horizon, Patriots Day. They did all of those together. And all of those are phenomenal movies, I thought. So then I was disappointed when after that they made, I think it was Mile 22 they next made, and that was bad. And then they made this, and I was kind of like, okay, it's just action comedy this time. They're back together. It's like their 5th time working together. 3 out of 4, they've nailed it. This is going to be a great Netflix movie. It was fine. It was fine. It was fine. I didn't think it was actively bad. I thought it was fine. It's a slightly kind C, but yeah, D's pretty bad in general, actually. So it's yeah, I'll give it the C. Coffee and Cream is another action comedy. Yep. I don't know why we've been stuck with all these at the end. It's worse. It is worse. It's worse than Spencer Confidential. Look, Ed Helms. I've never been able to get behind him as a lead. I thought he was fine in The Office. I enjoy him. I enjoy seeing him in a lot of roles, but I can't outright think off the top of my head of any film that he's been the lead in that I've gone, yeah, this is definitely not one. I mean, literally the story is that this guy who is a police officer is dating this woman, and her child tries to get a hit on him, tries to get him murdered, and then they learn to become friends because he's trying to get him murdered. It's not good. Is it bad enough for an E? It's close. I might give it the D. Give it the D. Yeah, I'll give it the D. That's fine. Lost Girls. God. Whew. Lost Girls is sad. Lost Girls is one of the saddest films here. Lost Girls is a sad, sad movie. It's just about girls getting, well, murdered. And this mother who goes on a search for justice. And, like, it's not a bad film. It's definitely not. But it is the dreariest, most depressing film here. And for that, I will not give it higher than a C, I feel. Yeah, this has just ended up like most lists. We've kind of leveled it out to C and Ds generally. Even though most of these, they're Fs. They're Fs on another list. A lot of the Ds. Uncorked, another one. It's probably just a D. I don't want to give out too many Ds, but it's probably just a D. It's probably just a D, yeah. There we go. There we go. Sweet. That is pretty solid, I'd say. That is one of the first times ever we've had more S's than A's. But yeah, Netflix, if they're doing like a proper big film, you gotta give it credit to them. They generally get it really right. Generally, when they're doing a proper film. Like, most of the films from C downwards don't have the level of budget or anything like that to actually be big cinema releases, you know? Some of them do. Some things like Eurovision, that was goddamn trash despite having everything it could have wanted. But yeah. In general, I feel like that's about right. These are the very worst, but if this was another list, like just movies, if this was just all movies list, all of the E's would also be an F, and some of the D's probably as well, honestly. Next tier list idea, ranking every vegetable. Oh, okay. I thoroughly agree. I will warn you guys, I will need more help on that one, because I imagine there's a huge number of vegetables out there I have not tried. But sure, I'll put it on the poll. Remind me, somebody, to put that on the poll, I guess. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. That was a nice one. That is one that I feel was a bit more niche. As in, most people won't have seen more than about 5 to maybe 10 of these last year. But I have, for some reason, seen like 95%. That's sad. You'll have to spend a week eating every veggie, but the problem is, like, if you just do every vegetable and try and get, like, a definitive kind of list for that, then there will be ones just not available in my country. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I eat vegetables, but there will just be a lot of ones that I've never even heard of, probably. Still, I'll put it on the poll if you guys are interested in that. That's a weird one. But yeah, thank you guys. This was actually fun, because this was the first ever one where I couldn't find on this site, cheermaker.com, a template for this, like for specifically the Netflix films from 2020. So I just made it myself. I just made this one this morning. But it was fun. It's interesting to be able to have the control instead of just having the shitty pictures that some people put in doing these sometimes. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much again for the donations, guys. Thank you for new members this week. I don't know if any of them are here, but there were a couple of new members this week. So thank you so much for that. That's so awesome to see. Big. Every time I see like a donation, I go, that's so great. Every time I see a new subscriber, I'm like, yeah. Every time I see a new member, I just freak the fuck out. Like, I'm so hyped. So thank you guys so much for that. A couple times this week. Thank you so much for supporting the video as well yesterday, guys. That was a big one in terms of cost, in terms of time, in terms of all that stuff. It was a large scale video. But yeah, I like the idea of getting back into vlogs, and that was a step, certainly. But if you guys liked it, you know, go back and like the video, like this stream if you want, and please do, if you're gonna share the channel with your friends, maybe start with that one. Maybe start with that video. That's an interesting place to begin. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Leave other suggestions for more tier lists, more vlog type videos, and beyond in the comments. And I'll see you on Friday on stream for a finish it. Looks like it's going to be Helltaker. That's going to be interesting. And I will see you next week again for another tier list. I am taking a break because I've got holidays coming up for a couple of weeks. So there'll be 2 weeks in there where there is no tier list. But there will be one next week. So the 2 weeks after that. See you later, Ross. See you later, everybody. Bye.